How's it going, my rogues gallery? I still don't know if I'm gonna make that a thing at all. Today we have another Force of Will video. Today we are doing a Force of Will flashback, looking at some old Force of Will products. Specifically, we're gonna do a sealed of the Twilight Wanderer, which means we're gonna open up 6 booster packs from the Twilight Wanderer and build a deck from the cards inside. This booster box itself was actually from a pre-release kit, and the sealed format is usually done at pre-releases, so you know, we're gonna kind of stick in theme here. And also for this particular sealed, we're gonna be able to use any of the rulers from the Twilight Wanderer, so I'm just gonna pull them from my collection and we can use any of the ones that I already have. But if we pull one from the packs in here, then you know, maybe that could give us some good incentive to play them. And as you can see, we got the upside down packs. We got our pack. Oh my god, it really is upside down. We got our packs all good to go. So without further ado, let's get on with it.
All right, so before we get into the packs here, let's pull out the rulers. This binder doesn't really fit entirely on the screen here. I have this all set up for optimal card viewing, but let's just go through here. By the way, this is my ruler binder that has one of every single ruler ever printed, and I usually try to get the highest rarity. Ubers, you know, excluded. I don't have an Uber for all of them, basically. So these are all of the Twilight Wanderer rulers. We have your, you know, Alice Fairy Queen, your Sylvia, your Reflect Refrain, your Valentina, and of course, your Dark Alice. So we will set these aside and we can potentially use these for our rulers for this. Maybe someday I'll go over this in a much greater detail. You have like full arts of basically everything. You've seen almost all this stuff opened on camera if you've been around for a little while. Do any of y'all remember me opening up this guy? Oh man, those were good times, but I digress. Let's get on with the rest of the video here. So here are the 5 potential rulers and or J rulers. As you can see, I kind of went with, you know, I went with a theme. Hopefully Alice will give us some luck, but we're going to set these off screen. Just keep in mind that these are the ones that we can use for this sealed. So let's open this up. We're not going to be opening up every single booster pack. We're just going to be opening up 6. And let's try to find the best 6. Let's pull 2 from each. Let's get 2 from here. We'll put 2 from here, and let's go bottomsies on this one. We'll pull like the exact bottom 2 packs. So here got 1, and then there's one here that I can't quite get. This better be a good pack. Yeah, there we go. So we got 6 from this booster box. Like I said, this was actually from a pre-release kit. Old pre-release kits and maybe new pre-release kits. We'll see. I'm going to be opening one for Alice Origin 4. Basically, they have 2 booster boxes with no shrink wrap, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, here we have our 6 Force of Will packs, and we're going to try to build the best sealed deck that we possibly can with these cards. I do really like the aesthetic of this set too, and if I remember right, there's some pretty good cards in here that were pretty broken. So we have Burn to Cinders, and we're not going to go over every single card individually because that would take quite a long time, but we will go over the rares because those will basically dictate what we do. Yo, did we get... What is this here? Okay, I think we got a good pull here. This is the Beast Queen's Guardian. We have Wall of Ideas. I was going to say Confusion. We have this... Oh, dude, Lancelot. Really good pull. This Water Magic Stone. And based on the border here, I'm going to guess it's going to be a Dark Alice. Oh, dude, it's a Dark Alice. All right, well, first pack. Dark Alice to go with our other Dark Alice. I think this is actually one of the most expensive cards in the set. It's not a really pricey set, but Dark Alice, or the girl in Twilight garb, is quite good. So here, let's scoot some stuff over. We'll put our really good pulls down here, and we'll put the rares that we get up here, just so we can kind of get an idea of what we have going on here. But Dark Alice is very sweet. You know what? Let's talk about actually what she does, because this is a sealed deck. So she has a Judgment of 0. You can play this only if you have removed 3 or more cards from the game with this card's ability, and her ability is remove a card in your opponent's graveyard from the game. So pretty simple. She can Judgment for 0, and she has an activated ability of a Darkness, removing cards in your opponent's graveyard from the game. And then her Dark Alice, Maiden of Slaughter side. She's a 900 Shadow Knight with target attack. When this card enters your field, choose a number. By the way, target attack is the same as precision. They've changed it since then. Destroy all resonators with total cost equal to the chosen number. Pretty good. And she has God's Art, Walpurgis Knight. J resonators your opponent controls gain -200, -200. Search your main deck for a card named Schrodinger, the Fallen Black Cat, and put it on the field, and shuffle your main deck. Play God's Art, Walpurgis Knight once per game. And it just says they get -200, -200. Not until end of turn. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So let's keep going on. We can definitely play like some sort of control style deck with Dark Alice here. And also keep in mind that some of the older Force of Will cards aren't quite as good as modern Force of Will cards. So we kind of have to judge or evaluate cards a little bit differently. So we have Sylvia's Clanmate. That's a decent dragon type resonator. We have this Mechanical Knight, Protection of the Fairies. Ooh, Scorn of Dark Alice. Really good card. Beast Queen's Guardian again. Wall of Ideas again. Is this the same pack? The same Lancelot. We've got a super rare here. Vivian, Lady of the Lake. She's a 500/500 with flying for 3. Not great. But you can put a fairy resonator with total cost 1 or less from your hand in the field. And then whenever a fairy resonator enters your field, all fairies you control gain +200/+200. That's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Put the supers here. And this is a foil uncommon Dark Melgus. The Shadow Flame could make our deck, to be honest. It's a 1000/1000 for 2 and double darkness. Shadow 7 Kings. He has an Awakening of a Fire. When it enters the field, it deals 1000 damage to a resonator. And we have this QR code that doesn't work anymore. So he's pretty good. He definitely wants us to play Dark and Fire though. So keep that in mind. We'll put the regular foils there. So yeah, definitely shaping up to play Darkness and Fire, I would say. Darkness and Fire are basically gonna be the way to go. Here we have Dark Alice's Familiar. Not too bad. It's 300/300 for 1. It looks like it has flying, but it doesn't have flying. And when it enters the field, reveal the top card of your main deck. If it's a Shadow Resonator, put it in your hand. Not too bad. We got the Fruit of Yggdrasil. It's not too bad either. Just enters, draws a card. We have this Dormouse. We have Flame Sprite, not too bad at all. Alice's Little Supply Force. The Butts Up Elf. We have Nimue the Fairy. Grand Cross, which is a really cool looking card. We have a Water Magic Stone, and ooh, full art stamped Shadows Memoria. Yo, this is gonna go directly into our deck. If your J ruler isn't Girl in Twilight Garb or Dark Alice, Maiden of Slaughter, this card enters your Magic Stone area rested. You can rest it to produce a darkness, and whenever a Shadow Resonator enters your field, target Resonator gains -100 class 0 until end of turn. So it's just kind of like a slightly better Magic Stone. So it's not the best. Also, not the worst. And also, by the way, in terms of like the stone base, we're just gonna assume we have access to all the stones. We're not really gonna talk about the stone base all that much here. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. We have this Flash of Demon Sword with awesome looking artwork. Justice of God's Sword. Ooh, Dark Alice's Shadow Warrior. Ooh, Rewriting Laws is a really good card. We have this card, Laying the Foundation. Looks really cool. Dance of the Shadows. Really sweet card. We have the Beast Queen's Guardian. Again, Gloria's Castletown is our rare. Yo, Adam Brawley, super rare. Really, really good card. And then a foil that. Adam Brawley is really good. He could basically go into almost any deck because he has an incarnation ability. So you can basically banish any combination of, different color resonators, and he has a different effect when he comes into play with that. So instead of paying his cost of double water and one of any, you can banish a light or fire or water or wind or dark, and then another one of those ones, and then you get this effect here. He's a really, really good card. Let's open up another pack and see what we got going on. We have this Familiar of Refrain, Mechanical Spirit, or Sprite. We have All-Consuming Suspicion, Burn Descenders. Got this cute Light Sprite. Another Wall of Ideas. God, I have so many of these. Yo, Dark Arla, the Shadow Wing. Really cool looking card. Yeah, could definitely make the cut here. Yo, Guinevere, another really good card. Dude, this is a really good pack. This is Excalibur, the God's Sword. This will probably make it in our deck, even if we're not running light. And then we have a Hrace Valgur. Probably not going to play with this dude. By the way, the Guinevere is excellent. You can kind of read what she does here, but she can basically banish Resonators. You get to draw some cards and discard a card, and you can also give Resonators this buff, which is, you know, it's a pretty good. This Excalibur is fantastic. Yeah, and then we have the Dark Arla over there. And then last pack, at least I think, I'm going to have to double check to make sure it is 6 packs. I think it is, but it might be more. So I'm going to double check before we move on. And if there's more, we'll just pull more from the box. Got this Shadow Assassin, drop of Yggdrasil, Send Back, which is a very interesting card. Magic Matchstick, Pride of Knights. We have Galahad, the Son of the God. Really cool looking artwork there. We have this Golden or Caldera Born Dragon. Could definitely make the cut there. Overlord's Baptism. Very interesting card. Change the World, Orb of Illusion. This is the Reflect Refrain Regalia. And then we have, oh dude, Jeanne d'Arc, the Shadow Princess of Purity. Really sweet artwork on this card, and actually I think the full shebang one, the stamped version, is worth a couple bucks. Not too bad. This will definitely make the cut for our deck, you know, for sure. That was a triple rare pack, by the way. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice getting the triple rares. All right, so I have checked, and it is indeed 6 packs, but your deck size is only 20 cards. So yeah, let's build the best deck we can. We're definitely going to be playing with Dark Alice here. I don't even know why I took all the time to go get all these other ones when we are clearly just going to play Dark Alice. I guess you can play Sylvia. Sylvia is definitely a fan favorite, but come on. We pulled the Dark Alice. We're going to be playing with the Dark Alice. Alright, so this is our deck. If I was playing this at a pre-release, I'd be pretty happy with this sealed deck. We're not going to go over Dark Alice again, but she is pretty sweet. She's going to be really good for our deck, really good at killing other opponents, our Resonators and all that kind of stuff. We are running our only special Magic Stone that we got, and for the Magic Stone base in general, I would basically run pretty even Darkness and Fire Stones with maybe a little bit more Fire than Darkness, because we do have a little bit more Fire than Darkness cards in the deck. So let's talk about the deck. Every single Darkness Resonator is a Shadow, which is pretty relevant for some of the cards in the deck. First up is the Jeanne d'Arc, Shadow Princess of Purity. She's a 300/300 for a single Darkness. She says when a Resonator is put into the graveyard from your opponent's field, rest target Resonator your opponent controls. So whenever we kill a dude or they block or whatever, we can rest one of their dudes and then, you know, get a free attack in or attack on that Resonator. So she's a pretty good, solid 1-drop. Next up is Dark Melgus, the Shadow Flame. We kind of already talked about him. He is double Darkness and 2 of any 1,000 Shadow 7 Kings with Awakening of a Fire. And if we play that, he gets to nug someone for 1,000 damage. Pretty good. And this is a Darkness Fire deck. Next up is Dark Arla, the Shadow Wing. 700/500 for 2 of any and a Darkness, Shadow 7 Kings with Flying, and he has an activated ability of 1 of any and a Darkness. This card deals 600 damage to target Resonator with Flying, so pretty good at dealing with our opponent's other Flying Resonators. We also run 2 of this Shadow Assassin. Pretty simple card. It's a 100/500, which is pretty weak for only 2 Darkness, but when he deals damage to a Resonator, destroy that Resonator. Really good at blocking. Not really good at attacking, but just kind of efficient at killing our opponent's dudes. We also run the Dark Alice's Shadow Warrior, 300/300 for a single Darkness. You can banish him to give another Resonator -200/-200 until end of turn. Not the best card, but we're running with what we got. Next up is the Dark Alice's Familiar. Pretty good in this deck. 300/200 Shadow Bat. When it enters the field, reveal the top card of your main deck. If it's a Shadow Resonator, put it into your hand. That's pretty good. Like I said, all of the Darkness Resonators are Shadows, which, you know, synergizes with this kind of janky card. Next up is the Flame Sprite. Actually a really good card. 200/300 for a single Fire. It's Fairy with Flying and also Swiftness, and you can also rest it to deal 100 damage to target Resonator for each Fairy you control. We don't have a lot of Fairies, but still a really good aggressive card. Next up is the Sylvia's Clanmate, 400/400 for 1 of any and a fire. It's a dragon with flying. You can banish it and pay 1 less to play judgment abilities of your ruler this turn. Doesn't really matter. But you can also pay a fire to pump its attack. That's not too bad. Next up is another dragon, the Caldera-born dragon, double fire and 2 of any, dragon with flying and swiftness. It's just 800/800. Pretty good. We want to be pretty aggressive with our deck here. Next up, we're running Guinevere. Just absolutely fantastic. 200/400 Resonator Queen. You can rest her and banish a Resonator. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. So we can, you know, banish any one of those other like kind of janky cards like the Familiar or the Shadow Warrior here. And then we can also pay a fire and rest her to give a Resonator we control 400/400 until end of turn. When it deals damage or is dealt damage this turn, banish it. So you can kind of pump a dude, but it's going to die when it deals damage. Next up, we're running both of our Lancelots. This is actually insane. Lancelot is one of the best cards back then, and it's still pretty good by today's standards. Not the best. It's been outclassed, but still quite good. It's a 600/600 for 2 fire. It's a Knight of the Round Table with swiftness. As you choose a card to attack, you must choose this card if able. So basically, this card always attacks, and it has to be the first one to attack. Whenever this card attacks, if this card's attack is 1,000 or more, it deals 700 damage to a Resonator, and then you can pay a fire to pump its attack. Really good. It's just really, really good. We are also running the Atom Brawler that we got because we have a lot of Resonators. We're only going to basically get the Fire and the Darkness effects. The Fire effect is deal 400 damage to up to 1 target Resonator, and the Darkness effect is your opponent loses 400 life. It's not too bad. That is not too bad at all. Also, he's just a 600/800. Next up are the spells that we have. We have Flash of Demon Sword. This is a chant standby, so you can, you know, either play this or put it into your like standby zone for 2 and then activate it when the standby trigger activates. The regular cost is 1 of any and a fire. It says trigger when a J Resonator you control attacks. Target Resonator cannot block until end of turn. Pretty good for shutting down some of their big blockers. If you control a J Ruler, this card deals damage equal to its attack to that Resonator. That's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Next up, we have Double Burn to Cinders. This is a chant instant, so it's the same as Quick Cast if you're familiar with modern Force of Will stuff. This card deals 700 damage to target J Resonator. If it's a J Ruler, it loses Imperishable until end of turn. If it's a Resonator and would be put into the graveyard from the field this turn, remove it from the game instead. Yeah, pretty solid removal for double fire. Next up is the Scorn of Dark Alice. Very simple chant. I think this is actually getting reprinted in Alice Origin 4. Just look at target opponent's hand and choose a Resonator. They discard that card. Yeah, pretty good. Get rid of their best Resonator from their hand. Next up is Dance of the Shadows. Also a card legal in New Frontiers right now for 3 of any and a darkness. It's a spell chant with instant, which means it has quick cast. Remnant, which means you can play it from your graveyard, but if you do play it from your graveyard, it's removed from the game afterward. Put a Resonator from your graveyard into your field, remove it from the game at end of turn. Especially if it has swiftness like that big old dragon or any other shenanigans you want to do. It's a pretty good card. Next up, we have the Magic Matchstick. It's okay. This is just a single fire for an addition Resonator, so you attach it to a Resonator. The added Resonator gains swiftness and first strike. That's pretty good. And then banish this card. It deals 200 damage to target J Resonator. It's an okay card, but it is, you know, we're using what we got here. And then finally, we have Excalibur, the God Sword. Very simple. It just says your J Ruler gains target attack, and you can rest it and give your J Ruler +200/+200 until end of turn. As long as it's Faria, it gains Imperishable. It's not Faria, but it's still a good way to just give our J Ruler 200/200. But it also has some other abilities here. It says discard another card named Excalibur, produce a Light Will. We're not going to do that, but it also says banish it, and your J Ruler gains Imperishable until end of turn. So pretty good. It's really good at protecting our Dark Alice once she's on the field. You know, we can use it to pump her, and then we can banish it to give her Imperishable, which is quite good. Anyway, that was today's Force of Will flashback video, doing a Twilight Wanderer Sealed. You know, pulling this Dark Alice was excellent. I hope you enjoyed this kind of like old school Force of Will video, taking a look at some of the excellent old school artwork and maybe picking some up of your own. These packs are really, really cheap these days, so it's a really fun way to, you know, play with a friend, especially if you're just learning it for the first time. You know, pick one of these boxes up for like dirt cheap and just, you know, crack packs and play some Sealed and have a lot of fun there. If you are looking for a new Force of Will product, definitely check out Happy Little Hug Factory. I always put this at the beginning of the video, but I kind of forgot this time. Check out Happy Little Hug Factory. I do have an affiliate link in the description down below. I don't think they have any old product, but they definitely have new Force of Will product and single, so check them out for that kind of stuff. And without further ado, I hope you all have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time for some more Force of Will content. We'll see you later.